Estonia loves to brand itself as a modern digital democracy. Estonia is progressive. Estonia is Nordic. Estonia is forward-thinking. And all of that is quite rightly correct. But when it comes to this one particular aspect, Estonia is stuck in the past. I mean, even worse, it's hypocritical. And that one aspect is hate speech. Let me explain. Estonia's hate speech law is one of the weakest in Europe, to put it mildly. I mean, it's almost non-existent. When I say hate speech, I don't mean just offensive opinions. I mean what Estonia's law defines, which is public incitement to hatred against groups like nationalities, religions, or ethnicities. But only if it directly causes danger to life, health, or property. That's the biggest catch. Most of what we would call hate speech elsewhere isn't punishable here at all. Under the penal code, public incitement to hatred is only criminal if it results in danger to life or health or property. In other words, unless your words literally cause violence on the spot, it is not a crime. Anybody can say anything as long as because of that effect at that moment there is no physical violence at that point. The thing is that this goes severely against the European Union norms and laws. And the European Union has told Estonia to fix this years ago. I mean, Brussels opened infringement proceedings in 2020 and again in 2024 because Estonia had only partially and incorrectly applied EU hate speech rules. Their words, other European countries, Germany and France and even Latvia, neighbor Latvia, criminalize any public incitement against protected groups. Estonia doesn't. There was a new bill to strengthen hate speech penalties that was drafted in 2022, but the parliament has been paralyzed. I mean, the coalition can't really agree. There was one side that says that only race, nationality, and religion should be protected. The other side says that all groups should be protected, which includes LGBTQ and disabled people and everyone. And because of this political infighting, the bill has been stuck. Estonia still doesn't have a proper hate crime law. So, I mean, that's the theory, right? What exactly happens in practice? And what happens is way worse. The state acts arbitrarily. It all comes down to who the speech targets. I want to give you two main cases. And the first one is the protest that happened in Tallinn in 2023 against the Palestinian genocide. So, people during the protest were arrested and fined for chanting "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free." The police called it hate speech, and the man was fined 160 euros because they said that the slogan supported crimes against humanity. Later, the Supreme Court overturned it. They ruled that the average Estonian wouldn't automatically link that phrase to terrorism or genocide. But the thing is that the damage was done. The message to the public is clear. I mean, anytime you say anything in support of Palestine or the slogan, you risk arrest. Now, I want to show you the other side of the spectrum. In 2020, Estonia's far-right party held a torchlight march in Tallinn. People carried the flags of Odin, which is a neo-Nazi symbol. Marching alongside them, the interior minister himself from the right-wing party. Nobody was arrested. There was no freaking crackdown at all. I mean, you are free to brandish your neo-Nazi flags, but saying a slogan like "From the river to the sea" can get you arrested. And the thing is that it's not even the neo-Nazi flags. I have with my own eyes seen bikers on main public roads brandishing actual Nazi flags on their bikes, just roaming around in the main highways. Where exactly in Europe are you exactly free to do that? I mean, how long has it been since the Holocaust? Okay, case number 2. In Estonia, you can say "F Putin" or "F Russia" anywhere. Nobody will stop you. In fact, you'll probably get claps on the back because that is pretty much socially acceptable. But say "F Israel" and watch what happens. And I saw a demonstration of that with my own eyes. There was a man in my neighborhood in northern Tallinn that hung a banner from his window with those words. Within minutes, police cars arrived and they called in a backup and another unit, and they brought in like fire brigade, they brought in ambulances, and they brought like a whole platoon of police officers, all for a banner. And they actually forced him to take it down, and then he was arrested. Surprisingly, the man was not arrested on the charges of hate speech. He was actually arrested on charges of obstruction of justice because he apparently resisted arrest. And he resisted the police's attempts to take down that banner. So, here's the thing. One phrase gets ignored and another phrase summons half the emergency services in Tallinn. I mean, how is this about protecting people? It's about political priorities. I mean, Estonia chooses, or not Estonia, but Estonian state chooses which hate is tolerated and which gets crushed. So you might be thinking, okay, these are isolated cases. How does this affect me and its day-to-day life? But the truth is that there are racist and xenophobic people everywhere, right? That's truth. But every state has a deterrent in the form of law that forbids, that tells people that, okay, if you do these kind of hateful actions, this is the cost of doing that. In Estonia, it doesn't really exist. And I have mentioned this before as well, that there is a report on discrimination in Estonia, and it's rampant. I mean, passive racism, where a person doesn't punch you in the face because you look different. Apart from that, everything is fair game. I mean, people can come and say to you, go home, go back to Africa. People can say racial slurs to you. They can do whatever they want in public gathering, and that is perfectly fine, right? Speaking from even my own personal example, my neighbors, my downstairs neighbor, the place where I lived for the longest time, was one of the most racist pieces of I have ever seen in my life. Outside of physically punching me, he did everything that he could to make my life miserable. I mean, he would just throw slurs at me. He would just knock on my door. He would play loud music. Imagine living with this kind of anxiety, all the time. And the thing is that I don't mean to say that I need protection. Thankfully, I'm very strong-headed to deal with these kind of situations. But the thing is that there should be some kind of a deterrent that tells people that if you deal with this kind of a hate, there are some consequences to that. And I always keep on saying there should be consequences to bullying. If you don't have any consequences, if there isn't any return to bullying, they will just keep on doing that. So here's the thing. Here's what I mean to say. And that is, if a democracy can't apply its laws equally, then those laws mean nothing. I mean, Estonia has to decide that does it really care about fighting hate speech or just silencing the speech that it doesn't like? That's the question I'm leaving you with. And free Palestine. Thank you.